through a Unit 2 test review. So these are the key ideas. If you're taking notes or if you're typing in some notes, these are the things that you've got to know to be successful on your Unit 2 test. So let's just jump through one at a time. Plate tectonics, you are honestly experts now. So you know how plates move. You know what plates are made out of. You know that plate boundaries are the areas where two plates come together. And you even know a little bit about the history, like how plate tectonics came to be understood in the first place, right? We looked at the locations of earthquakes and volcanoes. We talked about some of the evidence for continental drift. There was that old guy, Alfred Wegener, and he was the one that first came up with this theory, but there wasn't a lot of support for his idea. He was kind of thought to be crazy compared to some other ideas at the time because people didn't believe that parts of the earth could move around and shift like this. But some of the evidence that we looked at were fossils, right? When there was a type of fossil on one part of a continent and on another continent, the same kind of fossil, and they weren't found anywhere else in the world, well, it made sense that maybe those continents were fit together at one point in time, and that's why the fossils were there. They were really old organisms. They didn't swim across an ocean. They just went extinct, and then the continents shifted apart. We talked about things like climate, how you were able to analyze fossils and see that the ancient climate was different. So that's why Antarctica, that's very cold and snowy now, might have had a different climate a long time ago if it was in a different position on the planet. These are 4 things that you need to be able to identify based on pictures. So I've got pictures here, A, B, C, and D. Can you tell me which is the hot spot? And you can use your line tools to point to them, or you can put A, B, C, D next to these things. But which of these pictures shows a hot spot? Which shows a spreading center? Which picture shows subduction? And which picture shows a rift valley? That's something you should be able to know and do for the unit test. You can try it now if you want to test yourself, or you can just kind of keep in your mind that that's something that I would expect of you. Good, we've got subduction as C, hotspot for B, spreading center for A, because we've got the arrows kind of showing that these spots are spreading, and we've got a rift valley for D. Wonderful, so you guys got that. How do we know where the plate boundaries are? Like we can't just dig down and see plate boundaries. So what do we do to know where those exist? We've got to know the layers of the earth, and that goes to this picture here. We mentioned earlier the inner core is made of that solid ball of really hot iron. The outer core is still made of really hot iron, but it's liquid. It doesn't have as much pressure, kind of holding it in. We've got the mantle, which is where that magma is going to come from. And that's where the convection currents go that move the plates, which make up the outermost layer, layer D. And then, and then also the iron that is in that core produces the magnetic fields. We didn't talk, I'm not even sure we mentioned magnetic fields, but just know that that iron in the core is what causes, we can see like patterns of magnetic shifting. You know that we've got a North Pole and a South Pole on the Earth. It has to do with the alignment of these magnets, and over time that shifts. And that's all due to this iron that exists in the core. And then finally, how do we detect earthquakes? What's that tool? We said you needed 3 different types of these things, or 3 different places where you do this in order to triangulate the location of an earthquake. So what's the name of that instrument that we use, or that geologists use, to detect earthquakes? Starts with an S, yeah, seismometer. Wonderful. So seismometer, and that's it. If you can answer those questions, if you know that stuff, you will do fantastic. Remember that the Unit 2 test doesn't open until tomorrow morning, so it will be appearing in your GoFormative kind of list early tomorrow.